The data shows that more than 5 women or girls are killed every hour by someone in their own family. That means in the short time that we will be together in this room, 10 women will be killed.
Of all the human rights violations in the world, none is as pervasive as the violence perpetrated against women and girls. UN Women is in a fierce uphill battle to change this.
بس ما كان في عنف أولها.
Comienza primero por un grito, después por una cachetada.
طب أنا اليوم قدام بنتي الكبيرة أكلت هذا البوكس.
Globally, an estimated 736 million women have experienced physical or sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. 86% of women and girls live in countries that lack robust legal protections against violence, and less than 40% of women who experience violence seek help of any kind.
Many member nations have laws on the books against domestic violence. China updated theirs in 2016, the United States in the 1990s. Yet women still face danger in countries poor and rich.
The first time they slipped drugs in my drink, I was coming from a conference I led. I was wearing a suit, though, as a friendly reminder, it shouldn't matter what we are wearing anyway.
1 in 3 girls suffer violence at their neighborhood school, like 12-year-old Zoe Klinsky.
I was stabbed with pencils, locked in closets, dragged from classrooms, and humiliated repeatedly.
And global emergencies like COVID, climate change, armed conflict put women in the crosshairs for even more brutality, says UN youth advocate Fatia Youngsangwin Chai.
We know for a fact that women and girls are more vulnerable during an environmental crisis. For example, the rate of rape rose 53.6 times among women displaced to trailer parks in Mississippi following Hurricane Katrina in that year.
Lizette Soria Saleto is a global violence expert for UN Women, and she has firsthand knowledge. Saleto had to delay her own college entrance. World over, women face the threat of violence in public spaces while commuting to a better job or university.
In some countries, we see that even more than 60% of women and girls are harassed in public spaces, and we know that that has implications or impacts on the women and girls' lives and opportunities. We have identified that women refuse to study at night, for example, because we know that at night we feel more unsafe because everything is more dark outside, you have less access to help if something happens. So a woman decides not to study because at night is the only time that she can go and study. So it has a very direct implication in your life choices.
Not one country on the globe is on track to meet the United Nations goals of reducing violence against women by 2030.
Women feel unsafe pretty much everywhere. They feel unsafe at homes. That's where we have high levels of intimate partner violence. We have high levels of sexual harassment in public spaces. And now, unfortunately, we are seeing also a lot of violence against women and girls online. So it's pretty much everywhere we take a space, there is always an issue of safety.
And that is because less than 0.2% of government funding anywhere in the world is used to stop violence against women. UN Women is calling for $500 million annually per country, with the rich nations helping the poor ones in order to make the world a safer place for half its population, and directing these funds to community organizations that work directly with victims and prevention strategies.
The one single factor that really creates policy change of ending violence against women is the presence of women's rights organizations. We know what works on prevention of violence against women. However, we don't have enough funds.
The World Bank, private industry, and governments from all continents are beginning to make serious funding available, like the European Union and Australia.
Men, well-intended, try to do the right thing, but it's just not enough.
Even in my own extraordinarily privileged country, an average of 15 women every single day is hospitalized, and that is a figure from 2021 to 2022, and it's due to family and domestic violence.
Still, there is hope as more and more women around the world take leadership positions in government and influential private sector companies.
It's horrible because the state is pretty bad, and we just see the world is going through even more crises and all that. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that the new generation is more vocal. The new generation is different to our previous generations. Also, even though the situation is quite gray, we also have seen some improvements in some governments where we see more women in leadership or things like that. So that gives me hope that in the future, the situation won't be just hidden or put to the side, but there will be more platforms to advocate for changes at the national level, but also at global level.
Young people have emerged to reverse the status quo. Young feminists are at the front lines of this social movement, yet so little funding exists to support them.